Hey, what's going on, everybody? Rick here. I'm joined by Mrs. Valdez, who is the assistant principal at Austin High School. So thank you for joining me to talk today. I know you're busy. I know you have 10,000 things to do, so thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
So let's just get right into it. You are an assistant principal, and this is your, what year?
This is my 4th year as an assistant principal.
As an AP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, as an AP. And I actually remember meeting you the first time when you were my AP at Canyon.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I was coming in all energetic,
Yeah.
ready to go, and it was fun. It was good times.
Yeah, and I remember, I think what's kind of like stood out to me is that I didn't know who you were. We had never met. I had never seen you, heard of you, anything like that. And I don't remember, I think it was Mrs. DeGraff said, hey, this is our new AP. And the first thing you did was give me a big hug. I was going to shake your hand. And you're like, no, we do hugs around here. And I thought that was pretty cool, coming from an administrator.
Yeah.
So is that something that you do intentionally as far as your interactions with teachers, as far as
I do. I mean, I try to like respect their space because there's some
Right.
people that just don't like that,
Yeah.
that touch feeling. But for the most part, when I'm really excited, like I do, I
Yeah.
want to embrace, and just like with my kids, I love my kids, and so I'm always, you can never have too many hugs, is
Yeah.
what I say. And sometimes those kids, they just need that
Yeah.
embrace. So yeah, I try and just be real with them.
I thought it was awesome. I liked it, and I actually gave a speech recently where I said that as educators we're the best side huggers.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of what that reminded me. But the reason that stood out to me is because I've been at schools. I've been at 4 different campuses, and I've been at schools where the administrator won't even tell me hi as their teacher. I've never I wouldn't even get a good morning or good afternoon.
See, and I can't even like picture like that doing that to any of my team or like my staff, especially if I'm the principal. You want to build those relationships, especially from the get-go, and you have to make that contact with the teachers, even the ones that are just refuse to embrace you and embrace the change that you're implementing at that campus. The only way you're going to change anything is to build that relationship with them.
Definitely,
And so making sure that you, every time you see that teacher, that one person who's just reluctant about you has every
Yeah.
type of excuse to avoid you and avoid the contact with you, and making sure that you're just intentional about, hi, how was your day?
Right.
Good morning, how are you? And just,
Yeah.
showing them that you're there for them.
And that's something you showed me from the get-go, and I thought that was really cool. I think from a leadership perspective, if your employees or your team is trying to avoid you, I think you're doing something wrong. But you're someone who, every time I saw you in the hallway, was always the proper greeting of the day. That's my military mind verbiage there. But the greeting of the day was, hi, how you doing? It wasn't just walk by each other in the hallway, not say a word. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Thanks.
So my next question is, why did you become an administrator? Like,
You know what?
why did you want to make
For
that
me,
transition?
it goes way past even administration. I knew right from the beginning that I wanted to be in education and that I wanted to make a difference and be a teacher. And initially, I'm the type of person where I already have that mentality and that growth mindset. Like, I'm not going to stay stagnant. I'm going to try and improve myself every year, whatever I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I'm an assistant principal for 10 years or for 5 years. I'm going to try and what can I do to make that experience more? And so after teaching for so long, I knew I wanted to one day lead a school and be a principal.
Yeah.
But I know that I have to take the steps in order to make myself fully rounded and a good leader. And so my thing was, I taught in elementary, right? I did my administration in middle school, and I have the administration in middle school. And now that's why I looked for this opportunity to be a high school administrator. So that way I have all of the running and the background knowledge of every grade level, basically. And so I think that's just going to make me stronger as a principal and have that respect with whoever I'm leading, whatever school I'm leading, because I've done it. I've been in the shoes of an elementary, I've been in the shoes of a middle school, and I've dealt with high school. So I just feel giving, that opportunity to myself was making sure that I am walking the talk,
Yeah.
and and whatever I'm telling my teachers, I can refer back to my experience in it. Because I feel like I told you, I think that's the way you get the respect with the teachers, is if you're showing them, you've done it.
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
you'll do it. So being an administrator, like I said, it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to stay in education and impact a greater part of it would be administration, and being able to make the change from the top down. I think it all starts with leadership and the culture that you're inputting into those students, into the school, starts with that leadership. And so that's why I wanted to be an administrator.
I love it. So so kind of what I'm hearing is you set yourself up to make an impact at any level, elementary, middle school, or high school, by getting that experience,
Yeah.
putting yourself in those shoes, and not just showing up. And I think that's awesome. So back to making an impact, and shifting culture. I saw you do that at Cannon. Well, I saw you do that at our old middle school.
And it was a little difficult, Ricky. It was sort of, I was inputting a new program, right? It was the new tech program, coming into a brand new school where the teachers do not know me. I don't know my team. I don't know my administration, and I had to really launch this new tech program and had to have those teachers buy into what we're doing.
So for those, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but for those who don't know what New Tech is, it's a school within a school. I guess it's kind of compared to like a magnet school attached to the high school.
Yeah, so it's compared to that because there's different models. There are whole school new techs. We just don't have them right now in the district. I think our only whole school new tech is Young Women's Academy. But right now, most of the district is following a school within a school model.
Okay, cool.
And it focuses on PBL. It's not like a magnet school where we screen our kids and where we look at grades or there's an acceptance program. Like, we accept the applications and just as routine, but we don't screen anyone from wanting to participate in New Tech.
Right.
Magnet schools, they have a certain average that you have to get into. The behavior has to be a certain way. New Tech is not that. New Tech is for every individual, every student, and that learning environment of the project-based implementation in the classrooms.
Okay. And I saw you take a team of teachers who have never. New Tech was new to the district or to El Paso really, and you took a team of teachers who hadn't experienced New Tech yet, and you went from being this inexperienced group of teachers or program or system or New Tech network, and you made it all the way to become a demo school, right? A national demonstration school?
Yeah, it was a national demonstration school.
How did you do that?
And I can't, once again, I am the leader, but I would not be able to be that leader if it weren't for my team. And the growth that I basically had to go to my team and say, you know what, guys, trust me and let's trust the process. Let's do this together. And I had those those teachers that just were able to run with it, and I credit that entire program and the success that we had with those students, the impact that we made with those students, to those teachers and my team that we had.
I like that. I like what she just mentioned. How she's in this leadership position, and she took her program to a national demonstration level, and she's not taking any of the credit. She's giving the credit to her teachers.
No.
So that's outstanding leadership right there. How did you build buy-in? How did you strengthen your buy-in with this group of teachers?
With the buy-in, I basically had to let them know that I'm there to support them, 110%. I was in their classrooms. I was talking to the students that I needed to talk to. If they had a problem with those students, they would refer them to me. I would then bring them in, bring my PLC in, bring the parent in, and show my team that I'm there to support them, 110%. And not just me, but it takes a village. Right. So reaching out to my parents, reaching out to my students, and making sure that they know that they have the support in this program. It's a brand new program, so it's scary for a lot of teachers that are used to the way they've been doing it for so long to change. And change, is not always accepted, or it's hard. Change is hard. And for some teachers to have that mindset, I feel, you have to ease into it and make sure that the structures in place are there for my team and in there for the teachers. And so making sure that I was a full support to them was important, I think, for the buy-in in it, and also making sure that they have the support of the training or anything that they need from the district or from outsiders, or that collaboration, that networking. That's super important, and I feel like they had that.
That's awesome. I heard you mention students. Well, support was the big word for me that I took out from this quick conversation. Support. You weren't necessarily the manager or the boss.
Yeah.
You were there. You were a support system for these teachers, but not just teachers, for students and for parents. And I think when I see administrators go out of their way to go outside of the ideal role of an administrator, where you're not just in the office, you were actually in the hallways, you were in classrooms, and you weren't in there just for walkthroughs. You were in there to just support and just like experience the learning that your kids are going.
And truthfully, Rick, like that was the best part of my day, is to be in the classrooms with those students, and not even with the walkthrough in hand, just to be able to be there and talk to those students and see that environment that they're in. I know I walked into your classroom plenty of times where I just needed an uplift, you know what I mean, of a good classroom, good teaching, engaged students, and you need that as an administrator. I think that's what brightens your day, because so many times as a AP or as an administrator, you deal with so many down I guess things that it just, sometimes you need an uplift.
Like draining
experience or negative experience. We're the disciplinarians, so we have to deal with all those different issues. We deal with very upset parents, so we deal with a lot of negative, right? And so going into those classrooms and seeing the good that my teachers are doing, the good that my team is doing, the engagement in the classrooms, the student collaboration, the way that one shy student came out of the shell and is now presenting to like 50 other students in the classroom, like that's what sparks me as a leader, because then I know the systems in place are working.
Definitely.
And I think that is the biggest buy-in, also, as not just for administration, but for my team and for my teachers.
And what I really admired about you as a leader is that you knew these kids' names.
Oh, completely. Especially, I mean, the last year that I was there, I was a little, I was struggling at the end with some of them. I was like, but it has to be like Jose or.
Because you built the 6th, 7th, and 8th year old.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I tried to make those connections to those students, because once they know that you know them, and even for like the good reasons, not just the bad reasons, you'll know the bad reasons, and you'll know that the student is always in your office or whatever. But those good students that don't typically, that fly under the radar, that might not know, like, are quiet, and you have to know those students as well, because they get that validation when you speak their name or you say, hi, how are you doing?
Definitely.
In the hallway. And so I'm trying to do that here. I mean, it's a little difficult with a high school, right? But one of my things is, they already know me. I know my other students are like, I think I asked them a question, or I received a letter from one of my past students. They're like, Miss Valdez would always say, hey babe, how's your day? Hey babe, how's your day? And that's just the way I show the love to my students, because I mean, they're my babies, right? They're my babies. So I'm sure Austin is gonna get a lot of that too.
Definitely. I thought it was cool too, because often I had my students write just letters of appreciation, Thanksgiving time, or just for no reason at all. And I always just found it just amazing that there was always a nice big stack of letters for you, and you're a principal. Everyone's scared of the principal. We're supposed to be, but I think you're changing that role of what a principal should be. You're shifting culture. You're making an impact beyond your job title. So is there a leadership quote that you kind of live by?
A leadership quote that I kind of live by: be the change that you want others to see. I would say, like I said, it's a difficult thing for change, and for students especially, because students get stuck in their routine, and students can't grasp certain situations, and you just have to really build that culture and that relationship with the student. And like you said, it's not that they know I'm a disciplinarian and they know that I'm there to like basically show them what it is, but there's certain ways to do it,
Right.
And there's ways to build that relationship as you're basically going through the process of what you got to do. Even though the student did mess up, or a student, you know, has to face consequences, making sure that I'm going above and beyond and checking in on the student, going into that alternative classroom and seeing how that student is, seeing them in the morning, hey, how was your day? How was, you know, being specific on those type of questions with that student builds that relationship. And then they know that you're not just there to like throw the book at them and forget about them. You're there to keep on checking on them and then make sure they succeed. And so, you know, just be that change, be that impact in that student's life where, you know, they want you.
Definitely. A big word that's I guess a recurring theme is relationships. And
Yes.
I'm a firm believer that when you build that strong relationship, everything else will fall into place,
Completely.
from behavior to academics to attendance. Everything will fall into place once that relationship is established. So I actually read a quote today. It was called "Be the leader that you would follow."
Yeah.
So I thought that was powerful, and I'm sure you would follow yourself because you're just awesome.
Yeah, I've been blessed to see, you know, I've been blessed with very strong leadership that I have, you know, gained from mentorship. You know, I have very strong women in my life that have showed me how to, you know, how to lead. And I also have learned how not to lead by certain examples as well. So I think it's a barrier where you have to find yourself and just really it goes back to your why. Why are you doing this? And ultimately those kids are my why, and so that's what I base everything on.
I love it. Those kids are my why. Sounds like you're a champion for students. So we're gonna close off with this last question. And in your time, I've witnessed you do amazing things at that school, and I've seen students and parents just give you so much praise for the type of leader that you are. But if there was to be one of your top, I won't say your favorite memory or your most memorable moment, but what is one of your top memories that you've had as an administrator? What's one of your top memories that you've had as an administrator?
You know, my top memories as an administrator is watching this one kid who struggled throughout the 3 years finally cross that stage to promotion. And wouldn't you know it, that student is here. That student
awesome.
Is here
That is
at
so
Austin.
cool.
Didn't go, like, I guess he's still having troubles, right, at whatever schools, but he made it then.
Nice.
So for whatever reason, God crossed our paths again, and that student is here, and I'm going to ensure that student walks that stage once again. You know, hopefully, God willing, in the next 3 years. I think he's a sophomore now. So he'll get there.
That is so cool. So he's gonna have his middle school memories with Miss Valdez, high school memories with Miss Valdez.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that
And
relationship.
he came up to, when he saw me my first day was Monday, and he came up to me in the cafeteria, and he's like, Miss Valdez, and he just embraced me.
That is so
Like,
cool.
he just hugged me, and I haven't seen this kid, so he's a sophomore now. I haven't seen him for 2 years.
Wow.
Since he graduated Canyon.
Yeah.
And he just hugged me, and he's like, I'm here now, miss. And, you know, just that satisfaction to me is all I need.
That is awesome. That's powerful. I even kind of got the chills.
It does.
So, again, Mrs. Valdez from Austin High School. She's an assistant principal here now, doing great things. And is there one last thing you want to tell people about education in general, or teaching, leadership, whatever you want? You close it.
You know, it is the hardest, most rewarding job that you will ever do. I get home exhausted sometimes, but I know at the end of the day that I've impacted the future and I've impacted those students' lives. And so even though I know I might be doing everything wrong, there's always room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. So if I fail today, I know that tomorrow I am going to come back in and try my best to get better at whatever I lacked at the next day. And I that's all I ask of my team. That's all I ask of my students and my teachers, and that's all I ask of myself. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We're actually going to try something new really quick.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back and forth based off of this conversation. What are some big, I don't want to say buzzwords because I hate buzzwords, but what are some common themes that we talked about? Example, one a recurring theme in this conversation was relationships, support, passion,
drive,
growth mindset,
love,
support. You already said support. See you guys.